Welcome to TILMA, our monthly podcast that dives into all aspects of my 7-year pastoral plan on evangelization. From exciting community events around the diocese to a deep dive into Pope Francis's 10 hopes for the Jubilee year, a year that we are in presently. I'm Bishop John Dolan, your host, and today we'll focus on preparing for marriage with José Antonio Martínez. He's the director of the Office of Marriage and Family Life, as well as a wonderful engaged couple, Brianna, Della, and Vincenzo, Torsiello.
Thank you.
Maybe we can get right to this. I'm going to ask you, José Antonio, you've been here now for a little over a year, right?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about your position and
thank you. Yeah, sure. I can do that. As well, my role is basically is only to support the marriage ministry, marriage preparation ministries in the parish level. But also we attend different couples in different situations here in the pastoral center, working with like a teamwork with the marriage canonical services office also.
Yeah.
And that is interesting because during this year, we can look in how the marriage ministries need more support, more training,
right,
more resources for them. But this basically is my focus, and that is my role, working with the parish leaders and the marriage ministry leaders and parish level. Yeah.
Well, it's a really very important process, and you're coming off the heels of Michael Phelan, who had been running this show for quite a while. But there's going to be a slightly different direction. You bring your own flavor and your own expertise to the table, and so it's wonderful. And part of that, of course, is again getting to know the various engaged couples that we have. And boy, look at this! We have this wonderful couple here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just kind of get a little background history on the two of you. How in the world did you meet?
Oh, do you want to start with that?
Sure. Well, we met when we were 12. So we met.
Wow.
We're 24 now. So 12 years ago.
12 years ago.
In middle school. You were a fan of the Beatles. I admired that.
Brianna just moved from New Jersey. She was wearing white and green hyperdunk basketball shoes.
Yes, I did play basketball in middle school. So we met then. We dated for a year in high school, and then we went to different universities and parted ways. So I went to the University of Arizona, and Vincenzo went to the University of Notre Dame.
I had what we always say is we had a lot of growing up to do. I especially had a lot of growing up to do.
I understand that.
Part of why I think the time apart was remarkably helpful for the state of our current relationship. We had a lot of growth in that way.
Yeah, it's provided a lot of space for spiritual and emotional maturity and just getting to know ourselves better so that we can be the best version of ourselves for each other. So then we got back together about our junior years of college. So we've been dating for about 3.5 years and then engaged for 2.5 months. Yeah, so Vincenzo proposed. Do you want to share?
Sure.
Yes.
Is it a tearjerker?
A little bit, although I kind of bungled it slightly. It turned out great, obviously.
I said yes.
But we were at the University of Notre Dame for a conference Brianna was going to on the archival history of women religious. And because the grotto there, which is a replica of the grotto at Lourdes, was one of the places where I grew the most spiritually, I thought, what better place to propose than there? It's beautiful. There's lots of candles, and it's right by the lake. So we were on our way back from a session she had, and I had one of my college friends camped out behind a tree with a camera to catch the moment as it happened. And we walked up, and I had the ring, and I was incredibly nervous and incredibly excited. And I asked Brianna, go ahead and pray a little bit, walk ahead. And as she was walking ahead, I got down on the knee and took the ring out. She turned around, and I was so excited that I went too quick. I prepared a whole poem that I forgot to say, and I just instead said, you're the love of my life, will you marry me? And Brianna's first words were, "Why are you doing this?"
I was so nervous. I was like, "What's happening?" And then I realized what was happening, and it was just so meaningful to be in that space and to be with Vincenzo. And I immediately just got down and hugged him, and I was bawling, and it was so beautiful. So we're so happy.
It was special.
That's a really cool place to propose. Yeah. That is wonderful. Fantastic. What a joy. So obviously faith was a very important part of your own journey individually, but and how have you seen that unfold as you are now together?
Well, Brianna is, and always has been, one of the most faith-filled people I've ever known. And you went on a very unique journey in finding yours, but I think it was something that was always very important to us, was finding someone who was grounded, but also always in the struggle of faith. Not just being completely certain all the time, but also leaving room for the uncertainty and the growth that comes with that. But you say it so well, so I'll take over.
I think Notre Dame has a quote that says it best, which is faith seeking understanding. Like, without doubt, there isn't growth, and the perplexities of faith allow you to grow deeper in your relationship with Christ. But I had a bit of a circuitous path to the Catholic Church. I was raised in it, but didn't receive confirmation when I was around 7. And then my parents raised me in the evangelical Christian church. And then I found my way back to the Catholic Church, in part through Vincenzo, and then through the writings of Dorothy Day as well, and just service and kind of vocation to serving the poor is something that's really important to me. And so I got confirmed and took her name as my confirmation name. And my time here and working here and the service and working on the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, they were all really big, pivotal moments in coming to faith and to full communion with the Catholic Church. And we get to go to Mass together every week, and we pray together every week.
And serving together is the thing that sometimes we are most excited about.
And in what way? You're serving as ministers of the Eucharist, or what do you mean by that?
Yes, and also more. We very much enjoy going to the Andre House.
I see. Serving.
Yeah, with volunteer work. A lot of that, especially on the heels of the apostolic exhortation that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's something that always really drew us and grounded us in faith. But then Brianna, in addition, is also a Eucharistic minister and a sacristan, and I'm a youth minister as my day job. So we're very head in.
Locked in.
Yeah, very much
so. Wonderful. Well, this is obviously not one of our more usual couples, to get married in the church. It would be great if that were the case. Of course. So tell me, José Antonio, what would you say is kind of the general response for couples preparing for marriage? What would you say most are active, or are they just sort of affiliated and they're starting the marriage preparation, and are they sort of just going through the motions at the beginning, or what would you say?
Yeah, before Bishop, thank you for the question. Thank you for sharing that special moment for you. Was special for me because working with couples is very important to me. But yes, as we have different couples, we have different mentalities, we have different situations, and every community is different.
Right.
Yes, as we attend different situations, but I detect in the couples, in the young couples, the illusion, emotions, very important, because we are human, and we need to attend and need to be the different approach to these couples, working and first when they not just give the information right away for what they need, just stay with them, listen, tell what do you have, what do you want,
get to know them
exactly, and have a relationship with the couple, because we need to walk with them. And then when in my experience in the parish level for years in different parishes, the most important is to listen what's in the heart. What do they have in the heart? Yeah, we can provide a lot of things here, our academic class, retreats, etc. But the spiritual moment is very important. And I detect some couples that they want to do only the requirements in the process, but it's not only requirements. It's a process for their life. Like here in Vincenzo and Brianna, and had the opportunity to meet with another moment with them, and it's beautiful because when I listen to them, I feeling what the connection what they have right now. And when we try to equip these marriage ministries because they have these marriage ministries, they want to do the best in the parish level, but sometimes we need to push a little bit how they can approach better these couples to working with them. Yes, but there's different situations. There's couples, there's different flavors for so. And that's the reason we need to listen first to how I can, because my challenge like a marriage ministry, how we can attend this couple because it's different. Here I have an example that's easy to work with in this couple, but it's the couples we need to work more, a little more, right? To have patience, with love, and working with them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Vincenzo and Brianna, so what has this experience been like for you? The whole wedding preparation experience been like? I'm sure the getting the date and all of those things, you have to check off of those boxes, and those are usually some of the more
stress-inducing
events. Yeah, but otherwise, once you get through some of those hoops, how has the general process been working for you?
Well, it's interesting because the moment you get engaged, you're sort of caught up in the enthralling moment of just being so in love with someone, right? And then that persists, and of course they still feel that way, but when you are hit with the reality of like planning an actual event for hundreds of people, it's a bit jarring. And so I personally felt like I lost sight of the sacramentality of marriage for the first month of being engaged, because I was thinking about the venue and who we're inviting and what the ceremony will be like. And then I think as we started our marriage preparation classes through the diocese, it helped us refocus really what the purpose of marriage is. And like Father David Holm from St. John Vianney, who's also a Holy Cross priest, gave a wonderful introduction on sacramental theology and the theological significance and sanctity of marriage. And we've been talking about like family of origin, how to communicate. And I think through those guided classes through the diocese, it has really jump-started a different way of thinking about what it means to be engaged, not to prepare for something that's just an event and to get lost in the details, but rather to really focus on sacrificing, dying to yourself, and like wholly loving another person. So it's been so beautiful to be drawn back to the meaning of it.
Yeah, so we are always trying to get across to people, marriage is for a day, a wedding is for a lifetime. They want to prep for that whole piece. But I'm happy that it's even deeper than that. Like the concept of family of origins was not, I did not know that's a part of the process, but I'm really happy that is.
It's a special thing. We found that most of the things we would talk about or were presented with had been things we had talked about, but there were still ones that we hadn't. And also things that we had already talked about may have changed. We may have to approach them in a deeper way. There's a whole lot of moving parts in being a human. And we operate very differently, even just the planning process itself, that preparing for a wedding is kind of a microcosm of the later preparation for a lot of things, because I'm very much a go with the flow type of person, right? And Brianna is like a genius at Microsoft Excel, and so with the wedding planning, that's how it has looked. It's very much she helps me to get moving and get more organized, and I think that I have helped you to remember to sometimes pause.
I will have to say that is probably not too terribly unusual.
Right.
Often the bride and then the wife is going to say, get more organized.
It's so very true.
That's going to be a lifelong discussion.
And I have always wanted that for myself, so I'm grateful.
Yes.
I'm grateful that she helps me in the ways.
Glad you're learning now.
Yes. That's the number one tip to anyone who's going to get married is be open prepare yourself for the learning as immediately, and even in funny moments like that, but then in more serious things too. I think knowing that change will be constant, because that's how we both feel God is dynamic, but also consistent.
I happen to think that those little pieces that you're working on, just the dates, the wedding cake, all of those things are important pieces. They are. That it's a wonderful experience. It should be a blowout experience in many ways. Although some people have very simple marriages as well, or weddings, I should say. But there is something to be celebrated and to be, and the church really encourages that. We do the same thing with priest ordinations, right? So it's a big blowout. It's a big thing. It's no small thing. And everybody wants to gather around you and celebrate you, which is awesome. But but beyond all of those, that's the diocesan preparation and everything. What are some of the hiccups that you have experienced? Maybe if you could share some of those.
Sure. Would you like to take it? Do you want me to? Okay. I think one of the things that we enjoyed was whenever there were hiccups or there were things that were kind of dissonant with us, that were challenging, we were able to talk about them. And even if we found that we still had disagreements with certain ways things were presented, we were still brought closer. I think that is a benefit of going through this process, even if it's in moments when you might not fully agree with the ethos of the way something's presented catechically. We can still come to a point of, well, here's why. Let's talk about it. And that gets you deeper into that reality. Yes. So I think the sometimes what Jose Antonio was talking about, of the way that one size fits all can be the approach to marriage prep, is always a little difficult because it always leaks through no matter what.
Correct.
But that gives us an opportunity to talk about those uniquenesses. You helped me a lot with that.
And it was nice to have people that were convalidating their marriages as well. Like, I think we did wish that we could learn more about that and that those people could speak to their experiences more as well. And also the challenges of marriage too. Like, it's a very challenging thing. Like, infertility can be an issue that people have, and people are coming from different backgrounds with their different families of origin. So I think having more candid conversations about the challenges that people bring with them, but how to utilize our faith to move through that in a really positive way.
That concept of even those who had maybe been married in the civil courts, but then now they want to celebrate their marriage, their sacrament of marriage within the church, and it's a joyful experience. And in some ways, they've learned a lot. Just how to grow together. That piece is there, but then the theological growth is a piece that they've been missing, and so I'm very happy that's a part of. Then you're actually kind of intermingling with both. I think that's a really fantastic.
Exactly. Yes.
I'm just wondering. So, what advice would you offer Jose and Antonio or us or couples watching this? What advice would you offer them as they're looking into marriage?
It was something I said to our pastor. So we've been meeting with him once a month, or even more frequently if he has time. And he's actually flying to South Bend to be our priest for our wedding. Is that for me, marriage is so much, and it's a place in which you can grow in virtue. Like, I was joking saying, like, it's like a virtue CrossFit center, because it's like you have to bear your cross and die to yourself, to sacrifice, to fully serve the other person just as Christ did. So I think remembering to live out the gospel call to have sacrificial love, and to really focus on that as opposed to anything else. Like, not whether someone gets you upset or the small detail irks you, or the wedding planning, or like the things that come up and arise in life, but just focusing on the teachings of Christ and the saints and the traditions of our church. I
think that's a really good way to begin. If you start with that whole concept of sacrifice, it's going to be wonderful. It's like the guy who stepped out of the confession, or the wife who stepped out of confession and started lifting up the husband's leg. They said, "What are you doing?" And she said, the priest told me I have to pick up my cross and carry it. But no, that concept of sacrifice, though, beginning at the early ages, is really important. Going through the sacrificial aspects,
absolutely, exactly.
Preparation for marriage can be daunting, but it itself is a preparation for you. Well, I want to say thank you very much for being here. We ran out of time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Vincenzo.
And I want to thank you for joining us today for TILMA. So please subscribe and like and provide your comments below for future episodes. Have a blessed day.